వెల్కమ్ టు టీవీ5 అండ్ మన టీవీ. ప్రస్తుతం మనం కమ్మింగ్ విచ్ ఈస్ వెరీ నియర్ టు అట్లాంటా. ఈరోజు మన హిందూ కోవిలేషన్ తరఫు నుంచి రిపబ్లికన్ పార్టీ చైర్మన్ ఆఫ్ జార్జియా, మనకి ఎలాగైతే కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ తర్వాత బీఆర్ఎస్ పార్టీ ఉంటాయో అలాగే ప్రతి రాష్ట్రానికి కూడా పార్టీస్ ఉంటాయి. అలాంటి దాంట్లో రిపబ్లికన్ పార్టీ చైర్మన్ జాష్ మకాయ్ is with me. Good afternoon, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Hey, so I just wanted to ask about the Republican Party. How is it really equipped for this election? What do you think of the Indo-American community and why should they vote to Donald Trump?
Well, I think the main reason to be for Trump is the economy. You know, if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, and you're looking for the economy to grow, then Donald Trump is really the only choice. You know, the other candidate in this election is talking about price controls on gasoline, on groceries, on basic staples, and that's going to hit our small business owners. So if you're a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you want lower taxes, you want the ability to invest in your business so you can grow, you can hire more people, you can expand your business. That's what Donald Trump's all about. He's a businessman. He understands that. He hasn't spent his entire lifetime in government. So I would say that's the number one reason to get behind Donald Trump is he's going to bring taxes down. He's going to make it easier for the average business owner in this country to expand their business, hire more people, and make more money.
Josh, excellent. You have talked about business owners. So definitely that would be the primary for the Indo-Americans as well. And before I get into the crux, I just wanted to know more about your responsibility for Georgia on the Republican Party. And tell our viewers how Indo-Americans have been associated with you in Republican and what kind of support you are looking at them.
Well, you know, we've had a great relationship with the community for years. We've got some great candidates for State House here in this area. Narendra Reddy's running. So it's not just Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, but all the way down. That's a relationship that is important to us. It's a relationship we want to grow. That's one of the reasons we're here today. My responsibility really is to coordinate with the president's campaign and the Republican National Committee to make sure we win here in Georgia. I really believe the presidential election will come down to the result here in Georgia. So we talk all the time about your vote mattering. This whole election could come down to how people vote right here where we're standing right now. And so that's why it's so important. That's why I'm spending every free moment I have, urging people to consider voting for President Trump in our Republican ticket.
Excellent. Josh, Georgia is, no matter what, it's a red state.
Oh,
right?
It absolutely is.
So if you see the 2020 election and to 2024 election, which is in November 5th, so there were a lot of controversy that the process was not good in the election, and that's where they saw a little bit dip. So being a chairperson for this Georgia Republican Party, what are the processes or steps you have taken to ensure the election is very smooth this 2024?
So we have an unprecedented election integrity effort underway here in Georgia and around the country. We have recruited over 500 attorneys to be part of our election integrity program. We passed 3 new bills at the legislature this year that Governor Kemp signed into law into May, putting really important protections in place for our voters. And our state elections board just last month adopted some new rules to make sure we're not waiting days and days for the count to occur, to improve public confidence in this election. So what I keep telling people is we are going to have a fair election November 5th. That won't matter, though, if people don't turn out and vote. Everyone needs to make a plan and turn out and vote, whether you decide to vote early, whether you decide to vote by a paper absentee ballot, or you prefer to vote on election day. You need to make a plan and make sure you go vote. But yes, this 2024 is not 2020. We have an unprecedented effort being made to make sure this is a fair election, and I'm very confident we're going to have a fair election.
Excellent, Josh. Now coming to the second thing, the Indian representation in the legislation. For the first time, Georgia till now, I don't see any Indo-Americans in the legislation of Georgia, and for the first time, Narendra Reddy is being nominated very powerfully. So, how do you see this election for Narendra Reddy? And we are also very excited to support him. What do you think the weak points where Indo-American can contribute to win him?
Well, the key issue here is letting people know how important that election is. I'm so grateful that Narendra was willing to stand up and offer himself for public service. This is an important part of the state. It needs to be represented by a Republican. Our margins in the state legislature are close, so this is a very important race. And of course, having someone with Narendra's background, his business acumen, his leadership, will be a huge benefit, and it will also obviously be making history at the Georgia General Assembly. So I think it's very important for the community in that there's a chance to have a true representative of the community really for the first time down at the legislature looking out for the interests we've been talking about today.
Excellent, Josh. Thank you so much again for supporting the Indo-American community. Now let's get into a last couple of questions. I don't want to wait for too much long on the national level politics, right? So 1% of the Indo-American community, do you think it can make a difference in this national election?
There's no doubt about it. This is an election. I mean, we saw it in 2020. In Georgia, we had the closest, I'm 45 years old, it was the closest presidential election in my lifetime. 11,000 people decided that election. So when you talk about, well, it's only 1% of the national population, it can be the difference in states like Georgia, states like Arizona, states like Pennsylvania, states like Wisconsin that are going to decide this election. And we haven't talked about this, but whoever the president is, foreign affairs is so important, and our historic relationship with India, the world's largest democracy. Donald Trump showed the kind of relationship he was able to build with Prime Minister Modi, and we need to make sure that relationship continues to thrive. This administration, in my opinion, has not done a good job of managing our foreign affairs, and so we want to go back to an administration that really and truly valued that historic relationship between one of the oldest democratic states in the world and the largest democratic state in the world.
Thank you, Josh. I think you have covered from all the angles. And the last question, then I will close. So one thing I could see in Georgia, being in Georgia for more than 7 years, I could see that since the Republican has come into power here, we see a lot of opportunities for Indo-American. It may be advisory boards or any other boards. Thank you so much for all the opportunities. So once Donald Trump wins and even Narendra Reddy wins in Georgia, what would be the opportunities, and what would, as a leader of this Georgia, how would you want the Indo-American to contribute in all your day-to-day boards, or how can they make a difference?
Well, we need to take advantage of this incredible pool of individuals that have business experience, leadership experience. There's so many government boards, there's so many opportunities to have a seat at the table and say, let me tell you about my perspective, whether that's as a small business owner or from another perspective. So we as Republicans, and my commitment as Georgia Republican Party chairman, we have a new administration with Donald Trump at the head of it. I'm going to be making that case each and every day with the president that it needs to be representative of the communities that helped get us into the White House.
Thank you, Josh. The last message to the community, what you want every Indo-Americans in this America, what support you would need?
Number one, we need you to vote. Make a plan, get out and vote. Number two, if you've got the time, we want you to volunteer with us, either at your local county or with the state Republican Party. If every person that's listening to us talk today were to get 10 of their friends and family and make it their business to get them to go vote, we would win this election and win this election going away, because this community, it's a swing vote, right? And so it's very, very important. If we're able to win this community, we're going to win Georgia, and we're going to win Georgia by a significant margin.
Thank you all. This is the message from Josh, and I would love to tell you all to go and vote, make a difference. If you want to have a voice in the legislation, please come out and vote. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Today, we have an esteemed guest as a Republican activist politician. As a part of the Hindu Coalition of Georgia, today he is representing here to address the Indo-American community on the importance of voting, and he's a strong supporter of Donald Trump. American elections definitely take very precedence in the world, and today let's ask more questions. Hi.
How you doing?
Very good evening, and I'm doing good. What made you to fly to Georgia?
Well, because I'm here because I'm supporting my fellow Hindus who are in the state. I've been told that there's a lot of concerns in the community on issues on law and order, taxes, support for small business, defense, foreign policy, and I think these voters are wonderful people, and they look persuadable, and I think that they are being cajoled into supporting a candidate for office that happens to have a name that is in common with our culture. And I'm worried that if it goes unchecked, this wonderful Indo-American community and Hindu community could go all in one direction for the Democratic Party. And in a state like Georgia, where the presidential candidate won last time by a margin of 11,000 votes or so, that Indo-American community could actually be helpful for the Republicans. And if parts of them swung towards Trump, it could close the gap and actually get him to win. And if Indo-Americans are the ones that help President Trump win, I think Trump will remember it. I think he will, and he'll see the power of our community and really, really give a lot of respect beyond the respect that's already being offered. And I see this as an opportunity for the Republicans to do well, Trump to do well, and our community to get a voice on the table in a very meaningful way.